Part 32. The Lucky Bag is Reborn with Space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 311. Chapter 311. The risk factor is too high. It won't take a while. The old man is back. Also returning with Zhang Baokeng. Half of Zhang Baokeng's face has become swollen. Seeing them, they look surprised and uneasy. Song Moding hurriedly supported Zhang Baokeng. "Brother, what's wrong with you?" Zhang Baokeng looked at the old man and said, "I'm fine. Those big brothers are joking with me." Rubbing his cheeks, "These people are really evil." The old man sat down, picked up the steamed buns, and handed one to Zhang Xiaoxiao. Zhang Xiaoxiao took it obediently. "Eat, this is normal, you will get used to it in the future. Eat without changing a look." The three of them ate absent-mindedly. Zhang Xiao can't swallow the snack. On the one hand, the food was too unpalatable, and on the other hand, she was worried about how to leave. After finishing the meal, we waited for more than an hour before the food for those people was taken away. Most of it was not finished. It can be seen that these people are also very dissatisfied. One of the bearded men grabbed Song Moding and asked, "Can you three cook?" Song Moding was just about to answer. Zhang Xiaoxiao shook his head hurriedly. "How can we three grown men know that? The most we can do is roast a rabbit or something, and my mother does everything else. My mother said that men should not enter the kitchen, otherwise they will be in trouble." Song Moding nodded hurriedly. Yes, it's going to be bad luck. Malao-san, just save it. Who among us grown men can cook? I don't even know how to cook. If you ask him, can he do it? Just think about it, even if you are a country boy, whose parents can't cook, let boys go into the kitchen to cook. We are also unlucky. Why don't you three brothers take a sister with you when you go up the mountain? At least you can provide us with a cook, so we can eat the old man's food these days. The food is so delicious that you won't want to eat for the rest of your life. Damn it! If this old man hadn't seen him as someone who could cook, he would have thrown him into the mountains and forests long ago. If he went into the mountains and forests with his lame leg, it would be a dead end. You ate my food for 2 months in vain. What did you do? Those dishes were thrown away in one go. Song Moding pulled Zhang Xiaoxiao and hid aside like a quail. Okay, brother Huzi, don't lose your temper. Let's go, let's play cards. Go to the old man's house and bring us 2 bottles of wine. By the way, let him cook some more meat. Forget it. Forget it, stop cooking the meat and try to get some peanuts. This life is simply impossible. Malao-san ordered the 2 of them to take their eldest son in. Song Moding pulled Zhang Xiaoxiao back. It seems that this old man was also captured by these people. I don't know how he fell into the hands of these people by accident. In this case, we should ask about the situation or we can find out. Zhang Xiaoxiao shook his head. It's better to say goodbye first. Can we not ask? Let's not ask the old man for now, the situation has not been fully understood yet. Who knows if these people are playing some kind of cruel trick. You have to know that these people don't understand us either. Under such circumstances, you dare to leave us here so many times, and you are not afraid of what might happen if there is someone powerful among us. Besides, everyone in the mountains knows it well. People who have been playing in the mountains all year round are familiar with each other and have fast feet. Are they not afraid of one of us running into him? The situation is still unclear. Let's wait. Anyway, no one can get out due to this heavy snow. Song Moding glanced at his wife appreciatively. Her mind was clear. Don't worry, these people won't touch us for the time being. Moreover, they still can't figure out the relationship between the 3 of us, thinking that there must be a connection between the 3 of us. If one runs away, will the other 2 be left behind? So people are confident, and with this heavy snowfall, whoever goes out will die now, so of course they are not afraid of us running away. But when the snow stops, I'm afraid our treatment will not be like this. The two of them looked at the heavy snow outside. The snow was still falling. It seemed that the snow would not stop for a day. The two people returned to the house. The old man could lie down long ago. Zhang Baokeng sat silently in the corner, hugging his knees and looking outside, not knowing what he was thinking. When I saw the two of them coming back, I just glanced at them, lifted the quilt, and lay down like that. Song Moding gave those people a pot of peanuts. Fried peanuts? Of course not. A big bag of roasted peanuts should have been brought up from the mountain by these people. Song Moding was unwilling to let his daughter-in-law lie next to Zhang Baokeng, but if she didn't lie next to Zhang Baokeng at this time, she had to lie next to the old man. Going over and pushing Zhang Baokeng raised his head from the bed. Song Moding gestured and asked him to move to the middle of the kong. Zhang Baokeng paused, picked up the quilt, lay directly next to the old man, and fell asleep. Song Moding helped Xiao Xiao spread the bedding, and then the two of them lay down. Zhang Xiao leaned next to Song Moding, and neither of them spoke, let alone made any unnecessary movements. But no one could sleep, who could have known that God had arranged such an event. Even though they were asleep, the two of them could still hear the sound of shouting, drinking, and playing cards coming from the next room. Song Moding waited until several people fell asleep before he quietly went out amidst the sounds of deep sleep. At dawn, Song Moding quietly came back and lay down in bed. He closed his eyes but was not sleepy, because he had been thinking for a long time. If these people could bring so much food up and hunt so many prey down the mountain, they must have transportation. It is impossible to just carry up the mountain like this. But when I went out and looked around, I didn't see any signs of cars or tractors. Song Moding was a little disappointed, and he did find a lot of traps around him. These traps range from big to small. If he hadn't been through hundreds of battles and had quite a lot of experience, you will really be trapped by these traps. It seems that the traps the old man mentioned are not lies. It is really not easy for them to get out. It is certainly easy for him to do it alone, but if he takes Zhang Xiao and Zhang Baokeng with him, it will definitely be risky. The transportation of these people should go up the mountain to pick them up at the appointed time, and they will not show up until the time is up. In other words, there are other people who will respond to them. The snow outside was too heavy, but in just one day and one night, the snow had already reached my calves. And the snow hasn't stopped yet. It looks like it will snow for at least 2 days. If you look at the heavy snow, it will close the mountain. In other words, if these people want to go out, they will not be able to go out for the time being. It means that the three of them are safe for the time being, at least these people are not worried about their escape. They will relax their supervision. This gave them a chance, and it was impossible not to escape. But how can I find an idea to escape? Song Moding is more worried about these people. They seem to be trapped here. After a long time, they start to have fun. When people are bored, they may think of bad ideas. Zhang Baokeng has been beaten today, and there is no guarantee that he and Zhang Xiao will not be attacked in the future. Zhang Xiao's identity must not be discovered. Once discovered, the risk is too high. At that time, it will be a dead end. End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 312. Chapter 312 Weirdness. At dawn, the old man got up, and when he got up, he took pictures of all three of them. Get up, start working, don't say I didn't tell you, those people are not vegetarians. If you don't work, I'm afraid you won't have anything to eat. The old man went to open the fire, apparently to make breakfast. But no one is looking forward to eating now. Song Moding, Zhang Xiao, and Zhang Baokeng also got up, but no one went to wash their faces. Everyone knows that the dirtier they are, the more protective they are. If you wash them off, you will find that there are still a lot of doubts about them. Most villagers are not like them. The villagers who are exposed to the wind and sun are wearing dark clothes. Out of the three of them, except for Zhang Baoken, who was exposed to the wind and sun all day long because he drove a tractor, he really looked like an out-and-out rural person. Song Moding and Zhang Xiaoxiao are still different from the people in the village. Their temperaments and facial features look like educated youths who are intellectuals. Especially if Zhang Xiaoxiao's face was clean, even if he was a boy, he would probably attract people's attention. Song Moding asked the uncle clearly. The three men went into the house, carried some prey, and went directly outside the hut. Felting the skin inside the house will make the blood smear and the smell will be even worse. Moreover, I went to Ma Lao-san from yesterday and asked for 2 daggers. If I don't have any knives, how will they skin them then? When Ma Lao-san gave them the knife, he looked at them specially. It seems that people are also worried about what kind of weapons they have been given and whether there will be any accidents. Not only that, Ma Lao-san also asked 2 young men to stand directly at the door with shotguns, watching them. It means to see if they are playing any tricks. If you want to play any tricks, just shoot. Song Moding didn't want Zhang Xiaoxiao to go out. But there is no reason. The heavy snowfall was exactly as they expected, and it hasn't stopped yet. But fortunately it's not windy right now, so it's not too cold if the prey is left outside. It's okay for 2 people to work, but Zhang Xiaoxiao doesn't know how to do this kind of skinning work. Song Moding was never willing to let his wife do this. Zhang Xiaoxiao looked at the 2 young men who were staring at the 3 of them with unkind eyes, and hurriedly went to help. Even if she can no longer stand such scenes, she still has to pretend now. Otherwise, it would be even worse if there were clues. At this moment, a voice came from the old man's house. "That little boy, come over and peel the potatoes for me." Zhang Xiaoxiao agreed. "Hey. Here we come." What a coincidence. Song Moding was completely relieved and started peeling the skin. Both of them had done this job before, so they were familiar with it. Soon, a piece of skin was peeled off, and the guard inside saw that they were indeed people doing this kind of work. Looking at their proficiency, they knew that they were villagers who often hunted in the mountains, otherwise they would not have such a skill. I felt relieved. Ma Lao-san took a look and saw that they were having outside the window, shook his head and went back. They are really unlucky. It was 2 months ago that I met this old man. When I went up the mountain, I saw this old beggar in a weed nest. I originally thought that with the old beggar, at least there was a cook. Who knew the old beggar's cooking skills? It's really annoying. But none of them know how to cook, and the food is always half-cooked, worse than the old man. At least the old man cooked the rice. Although it tastes bad, it is better than eating their half-cooked and uncooked rice and always getting diarrhea. At this moment, I actually met 3 more hunters who knocked on the door. Just this craftsmanship saves them a lot of trouble. They are not here for the meat, but for the skins and the things on these animals. As long as these things can be brought back, who would have the patience to bring back such a heavy piece of meat? Of course, you still have to pick out some good ones and take them back. It's cold here anyway, so they won't go bad if you leave them here. Zhang Xiaoxiao walked into the house. The old man had already pointed at the pile of potatoes and motioned for her to peel them. Zhang Xiaoxiao started peeling potatoes seriously there. In fact, according to her, she knew how to cook and her skills were very good. Even if you let these people know that you can cook, it will only hide your identity even more and treat them differently. But Zhang Xiaoxiao had a guess that the old man seemed to be protecting himself from yesterday to today, intentionally or unintentionally, even though he looked extremely indifferent to everyone. The problem is that she has an inexplicable feeling that this old man seems to be special to her, but she still doesn't understand why. The 2 people have never met, and they don't know each other at all. Why would the old man protect himself? Zhang Xiaoxiao can't figure it out, or is this old man just retreating in order to advance, trying to get inside and gain their trust? Zhang Xiaoxiao didn't dare to tell the truth to others easily, let alone reveal his identity, even if this old man was really protecting him. The reason why I said I can't cook is because I'm worried that if these people find out that they know how to cook, what if this old man is also a poor and innocent person? There is no guarantee that I will be abandoned by these people. The abandonment of these people is not just throwing away, it will kill people. At that time, she should really do something unjust. It is better to eat unpalatable food than to harm others. Besides, until she understands the final situation, anything she does is wrong, and she might as well do nothing. The old man made a pot of rice porridge early in the morning. Plus yesterday's steamed buns were a little warmer. The old man was doing well today. He fried potatoes and shredded potatoes. Although it was still the same tasteless, compared to yesterday's boiled vegetables, this fried shredded potatoes was obviously much more popular. The old man didn't even let Zhang Xiaoxiao bring the food in. The old man brought the food in himself. Let Zhang Xiaoxiao wash pots and dishes, clear the stove, chop wood, and fetch water. Zhang Xiaoxiao was too happy to go in. Being busy here is better than going in and serving those people. Those few people are not good people at first glance. They just beat Zhang Baoken yesterday. If you go in by yourself, you can't guarantee that you won't provoke these people. With her small body, she can't stand being hit twice by others. However, from this incident, Zhang Xiaoxiao had a feeling that the old man seemed to be protecting her. Otherwise, there is no need. The old man would not let her, who was young and strong, carry the food in. The old man would have to go back and forth 3 times carrying the food while he was limping. She had to tell Brother Song later and let Song Moding think about what was going on. Why is the old man so special to me? Why is this so wrong? Obviously those in the house were also satisfied with this morning's breakfast. Having eaten and drank enough, it was a waste of time this morning. Zhang Xiaoxiao and the others also had a simple breakfast. To put it bluntly, they each had a steamed bun and half a bowl of rice porridge. But compared with the barbecue they used to eat, eating some food is quite comfortable. No one can bear it if he is asked to eat meat every day. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Lucky Bag is Reborn with Space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 313. Chapter 313. The snow stops. The next day passed in a busy manner. Zhang Xiaoxiao still helped the old man cook. On the 3rd day, the heavy snow had not stopped yet. In the house, Huzi and the others looked at the heavy snow outside, their expressions gradually becoming serious. They originally thought that they would be able to go down the mountain after the heavy snow stopped. But who knew that the snow would last for 3 days? 3 days would be enough to completely block the mountain road. In other words, if the car wants to come in, it is just a dream, unless the snow melts. And the heavy snowfall in 3 days must be at least waist deep. Before the snow melts, there is no telling which day it will snow again. The snow season here is coming soon, and when the heavy snow comes, the mountains will be closed until spring next year. These people can just stay in the mountains and don't want to go out. They had planned well and had been staying in the mountains for 2 months. I want to finish this batch of work quickly before the heavy snow closes the mountains, and then make money so that I can go home and enjoy the happiness. Who knows, it would be a good thing. The 2 unexpected snowfalls have blocked them here, and now they can't get out at all. The most important thing is that the food they prepared did not take so long. If this continues, they will wait on the mountain until next spring, which may still be several months, and they will not be able to eat it by then. Everyone is starting to get anxious. This emotion makes their temper even more irritable. It was common for Song Moding and Jang Baoken to be punched and kicked, but fortunately, Song Moding worked hard and could also speak. Most of the time it's just 2 blows to vent the anger. In addition, since they are still useful to them, they don't really have to kill them. However, Jang Baoken became more and more silent, often not saying a word all day long. It snowed not for 3 days, but for 4 days and 4 nights. In the past 4 days and 4 nights, Song Moding, Jang Baoken, and even Zhang Xiaoxiao and the old man went out to help clear the snow, otherwise the heavy snow would collapse the house. The house was so blocked that you couldn't even get out of the door. Everyone had no choice but to start taking action. At this time, no one could care about anything. This was also a special opportunity that allowed them to figure out some traps. At least these people didn't want them to lose their lives right now. These people are still needed now, who knows what will happen next. Zhang Xiaoxiao and Song Moding were also very worried about this situation. It would be twice as difficult for them to escape. Walking in the snow or traveling in the mountains after heavy snow has closed the mountains is even more risky. This time, they and each other are trapped here. In the same situation, Jiashu and Hyeguo were also at a loss. Although that day they saw the faint wisp of green smoke in the mountains. But according to the current situation, if they want to go around to the bottom of the mountain to check, it will be as difficult as climbing to the sky. This heavy snow has completely blocked the development of this matter. It is as difficult as climbing to the sky to rescue. At this moment, everyone was sitting in the room in silence. A week has passed since then, and too many things have happened in this week. What might have happened, that much more, had they survived and been trapped in the mountains now? And they had no way to rescue them. They were trapped for 7 days. You can imagine what the final result would be. And after the heavy snow, the temperature in the mountains obviously dropped a lot. Now the temperature in the mountains has dropped to at least 30 degrees. If the wind blows, the temperature at night can even exceed 50 degrees. With a temperature of -50 degrees Celsius, it is simply a miracle that normal people can stay outside and survive. Besides, they had nothing to eat or drink, and they had nothing to keep warm. They relied on the cotton coats they wore to withstand the temperature of -50 degrees. It was no joke. The problem is that the weather forecast has already been announced, and there will be a heavy snowfall 3 days later. No one knows exactly how long this heavy snow will last. Such continuous heavy snowfall already means the beginning of winter. If the situation is good and they find the person within 3 days, they may not be able to avoid this situation. But in 3 days, they can't even finish the search from the forest farm on the mountain to the bottom of the mountain. It is impossible to check so many road sections, let alone find people. Even if we organize the entire brigade, or even all the people from several surrounding brigade, there is probably no way to do it. What's more, it's impossible for so many people to do these things. Their forest farm has a total of just over 200 people. Apart from the young and old, the remaining 200 people are only over 100 people. Is it possible for Chengdu to go to the mountains? In case of snow disaster and being trapped in the mountains, this is more than 100 people and more than 100 lives. No one can bear this responsibility. At this moment, everyone is a little discouraged. Hyeguo looked at Jiashu. This girl had been dancing there for the past 4 days. She wished she could fly to the mountains. He didn't know whether others would look for him in the next 3 days, but he knew that Jiashu would definitely go. So, he will definitely go. In this case, it is better to make plans in advance, and it is impossible to let everyone in the forest farm take risks. But if he can do it, he will definitely do it. For Jiashu, for Zhang Xiaoxiao, for Song Moding, for their former friendship, and for Zhang Lei, Zhang Xiaoxiao's brother who lives far away. He couldn't break his promise and promised to take care of his sister. 3 days are indeed too tight. I also know that everyone can't search all the places. The problem is that if we don't search, we won't feel relieved. In this case, I want to organize some people to go and see it that day. Check where the smoke is coming from. If not, we will withdraw quickly. In this case, the scope will become much smaller, and we will also get help from the surrounding villagers, reducing the greatest losses and risks. What do you think? When others heard this, they couldn't help but nodded. This was a good idea. After all, if you only go to one place, 3 days is enough for a round trip. Based on their footsteps, everyone is a person living in the mountains. Every winter they have to go up and down the mountains. Even though the mountains are closed by heavy snow, they still go to the woods to catch some game, walk around, and sometimes go up the mountains to cut trees when the weather permits. This kind of thing is not difficult for them. Many people agree with this opinion. So, under the auspices of Hyeguo led the team as captain. A total of 20 members of the rescue team were found, all of whom were old workers from forest farms with rich terrain experience, as well as young and strong people among their educated youth. Jiashu wanted to go, but they didn't let her go. Girls are not physically strong and cannot keep up with their pace. 3 days are actually very stressful for them. If they can really find the person, they will have to bring the person back and take Jiashu with them, which becomes a burden. After explaining the situation, Jiashu agreed to stay. We have brought all the equipment, food, drink, and warm clothes for these 20 people, and everyone has brought some equipment with them, so that if they really find Zhang Xiaoxiao and the others, they can carry out rescue operations and bring them away. Return. If you can't come back, go directly to the farm at the foot of the mountain, which is a short distance away. Even the director of the forest farm, Guo Dongjun, gave each of them 1 gun for forest farm defense, and the whole team got 2 guns. The 2 shotguns they had were used in the forest farm for self-defense to prevent the forest farm workers from being harmed by wild beasts. In fact, there were 10 of them in the forest farm, but they could not be allowed to take them all away. End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 314. Chapter 314 Failed to Escape. Zhang Baoken was carried to the house by Song Moding and Zhang Xiaoxiao. The person has long been frozen. His face was ashen and he had long since run out of energy. Huza came over and kicked the person, but Song Moding glared at him. "Oh, you still dare to glare at me, why was it I who hurt him? You must understand that he slipped out in the middle of the night to escape, fell into a trap and froze to death. This has nothing to do with us. You two know each other well. I don't know what's wrong with him, otherwise he would end up like him. Don't think that I am doing charity, giving you food and drink. You actually want to escape behind my back. Why do you think grandpas are vegetarians?" Huzi hit Song Moding hard with the of his gun. Soon, blood started to flow from Song Moding's forehead. Malao-san stepped forward and grabbed Huzi. "Brother, let's go, leave them alone. Let them go. If they have the ability, they will leave. This mountain has been closed due to snow now. Look at the situation outside. Even if we let him go, he must have the ability. If he can survive, he can leave. It also saves us food, otherwise we would be raising these 2 losers in vain." Huza let out a loud sigh, and several people turned around and entered the house. Zhang Xiaoxiao went to recruit Song Moding. "Why can't you keep calm at this time? I didn't expect Zhang Baoken to escape on his own. Why has he been silent these 2 days?" It turned out that he was thinking about how to escape alone. He thought he had found the way, but who would have thought that after the heavy snow, the trap situation was unknown, and he had not fallen into it. After all, Zhang Baoken was also saved by her. This was a human life. Looking at a living person like this, both of them felt bad now. Songmoding waved his hand. I just blame myself for this. I can actually see what Zhang Baokeng is thinking. I just hinted to him a few times that it would be a dead end for him to go out in his current situation, but I didn't expect that he would go to such extreme lengths to do so. To the extent that I want to escape alone, I just feel that I should explain it to him so that he won't do it. Songmoding punched the tree hard. The snow on the trees fell one after another, and suddenly I felt sad and solemn. Zhang Xiaoxiao looked at Songmoding. Don't always put the responsibility on yourself. It obviously has nothing to do with you, but you still have to force this thing on yourself. Not only you can see it, I can also see it, but I think as a man of his age, Zhang Baokeng should be able to imagine that after living on a farm for so many years, doesn't he know what winter is like? Even if he doesn't know the situation on the mountain, after the heavy snow seals the mountain every winter, there is almost no news from the mountain and down the mountain. Why doesn't anyone know? How many people die every year in the forestry farm due to heavy snowfall? Doesn't he know that? Since he knows that he still chooses to do this, he knows that he should bear the consequences himself. She did not want Songmoding to take on this responsibility himself. Songmoding is like this. When he was at the forest farm, as the captain, he did the most and had the most to worry about. And in charge of everything, take all responsibilities on yourself. Although there is nothing wrong with this, men should have the responsibility and courage to think about the world, but it is absolutely not appropriate to bear the guilt of conscience because of this. We are all adults. You must bear the consequences of whatever you do, especially your own life. They saved Zhang Baokeng once, and they had already used their own energy to help Zhang Baokeng. The secret of his own space, if he didn't come out, Zhang Baokeng might have died long ago. This time it was his own choice. Songmoding pulled Zhang Xiaoxiao, I've seen the current weather. I'm afraid it won't be sunny for 2 days. If it snows heavily again, we will be trapped here and unable to get out. Anyway, we are at the foot of the mountain now. As long as we find we will definitely be able to walk out on the road. The two of us must make early plans and go out as soon as possible these 2 days. How do people outside worry about them? These people have become more and more irritable recently. The food provided to them has begun to decrease. Originally 1 steamed bun per person has now become half a steamed bun per person. It shows that they have realized that once the mountains are blocked by heavy snow and they are trapped here, food is the biggest key. The meat that they didn't pay much attention to was neatly buried in the snow behind the house. And there are people guarding it to prevent it from being picked up by the surrounding wild animals. Those people are getting more and more bad-tempered. Sometimes they shoot blankly at the trees outside. Sometimes 2 people can be beaten to a head just because of a quarrel. Besides, these people always looked at him and Zhang Xiaoxiao with gloomy eyes. Songmoding was actually worried. He knew that it would break out sooner or later if this continued. They, the outsiders, are the easiest targets for these people to vent their anger. These people hunt prey and are violent. I am afraid that if a cruel attack is made on them, they will not be able to escape. Zhang Xiaoxiao shook his head. No, we won't go. What are you doing? Come back and cook quickly. The old man stood at the door of the kitchen and shouted at them. The 2 men quickly buried Zhang Baokeng. The ground had long been frozen solid, and the 2 of them had no tools, so they couldn't dig out the soil at all, so they had to bury Zhang Baokeng in the deep snow and compact the snow, so as to save the chance for wild animals to come looking for him. Poach away. This is the only thing they can do now. After the 2 people buried him, they planted 2 small branches in his position to mark it. If there is a chance in the future, they will bring his family back. Can't let this become his lonely burial place. After Zhang Baokeng escaped, it was obvious that Ma Lao-san and the others strengthened the guards outside. There are people guarding their doors or windows 24 hours a day and night. And once they finish cooking dinner, the door will be locked. It was extremely difficult to escape because the hut had only one window. The window is small, and at most one head can get through. There is no way to escape. After making dinner in the evening, the three people were locked in the room. Song Moding and Zhang Xiaoxiao sat in front of the big stove, looking at the flames in the stove with very solemn expressions. At this rate, they have no chance of escaping. In front of the old man, the two of them could not say anything. In silence, you looked at me and I looked at you. It's quiet outside. The people in that room were drinking again. After drinking, they became drunk and dreamy. The lack of movement proved that they were all drunk. Another day has passed. But they have no idea where the way forward is. The two of them got up silently and prepared to go to bed. Suddenly, the old man who was lying on the bed turned over and sat up. Both of them were startled. In the darkness, the old man stood up, groped around in the corner of the wall, took out something unknown, and handed it to two people. Then he opened the wooden board at the end of the kong where the old man slept. Everyone knows that the old man has two boards erected against the wall. The two people were shocked to see that after the board was lifted, there was a hole in the back. End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 315. Chapter 315. This is the only way I can help you. You should go quickly. This cave leads to the back mountain. Go straight down the mountain road. It won't take long before you can see a fork in the road. Take the one on the left. Don't take the one on the right. The one on the left goes straight down, and after 6 hours it is the road to the farm. If I remember correctly, it takes 2 days and 1 night to reach the farm. These things are dry food and dried meat that I have saved in the past few days. There is no way to prepare more, so just leave like this. The clothes you are wearing are all yours anyway. I can't help you with anything else, just leave before they notice because they are asleep. The old man stuffed things into them hard. Zhang Xiaoxiao took out the steamed buns and potatoes. In the past 2 days, these people had moved all the food and vegetables in the kitchen into their houses. Obviously out of fear of them, these people took advantage of them and ate them while they were not paying attention. The old man must have thought of a big way to save all this. Old man, I still don't understand why you want to help me like this. We met by chance. If you can escape by yourself, why don't you escape by yourself and leave these things to us? Zhang Xiaoxiao finally asked her doubts, which had been bothering her for days. She never understood why the old man protected her. Even now, the old man let them escape by themselves, but he stayed here instead. This is not common sense at all. This is also Song Moding's sentiment. I'm really afraid this is a trap. The old man took Zhang Xiaoxiao's hand. Song Moding resisted the urge to do anything. Girl, I know you don't remember me. You do good deeds without leaving your name, but I remember you. Do you remember that in the county town, your bowl of wontons warmed the house to an old beggar at the door? Had a bowl of hot wontons. I still worked in that wonton shop, but the owner of that shop passed away later. That store had been taken back by the state, and I could no longer stay there. In the end, I had no choice but to live on the streets again, becoming a beggar. Who would have thought that these people would find me and force me to come to the mountain? Who would have thought that I would still meet you here? At first I recognized you at a glance and kept thinking of ways to let you escape. This escape route is the escape route I arranged for myself, but you also know that I am an old beggar. Even if I escape and can reach the farm, it is one thing. At least I can save my life here. Besides, these people know that I am a beggar and will not do anything to me. Okay, stop talking nonsense, girl, run away now. Run as far as you can. As he said that, the old man gave up his position. Urge them to hurry up. Zhang Xiaoxiao suddenly understood. Suddenly I remembered that bowl of wontons that winter when I and my sister and brother-in-law reported to the power plant. I did one good deed every day at that time. Very unconsciously an act. I really didn't expect that one day I would meet that old man again, and that the old man would actually help me. Take a look at Song Moding. The old man urged, let's go, let's go. It's a big deal if they find out. I've been wandering outside all year round, and I know best in this place. It will definitely snow again in the next 2 days. You can take advantage of this weather. Arrived at the farm. Hurry and leave. Listen to the old man's words, the faster you go, the better. Don't delay at this time. It's not a problem to delay. These people are going crazy. With that said, he pushed the 2 people into the hole, and the 2 people climbed out of the hole. Looking at the empty view outside, it was indeed behind the 2 big trees side by side behind the hut. The big tree is close to the house so that no one will notice it. At this time, you can't see everything around you, you can only see the snow-white mountains. It was getting dark, and the old man got up and started to light the fire. The silent old man boiled water and gave himself a clean bath. The old man, whose face was originally covered in dirt, actually looked neat and tidy. He knew that he had let Zhang Xiaoxiao and Song Moding go. These people would come to deliver food later, and they would find out sooner or later. There will definitely be no good fruits to greet him then, but these people will definitely not kill him, at least not for the time being, but they will definitely not be able to escape after being beaten. He has been cowardly for so many years. In the past, his children severed ties with him, and his wife divorced him. To put it bluntly, they wanted to draw a clear line with him. He has lived in such a miserable state for so many years. He has really lived enough. Let's just have fun this time. He doesn't want to live like this anymore. Before he died, he did something to repay his kindness. He repaid the kindness of this little girl, and his life was worth it. Of course he would hold them off, as a last resort, as he didn't want these people to find out that Zhang Xiaoxiao and Song Moding had escaped. If they can delay a little longer, the 2 of them can walk a few more steps and be safer. Someone is picking the lock outside. Boss Wang, hurry up and cook. Brother is already hungry. The shredded potatoes you made yesterday are very good. Today we will continue to fry the shredded potatoes. We also asked the 2 of them to dig out a piece of meat in the snow and make a stew for lunch today. Okay, I get it. The man didn't enter the door either. He just put his things at the door and turned around and left. Lao Wang breathed a sigh of relief and began to work. He made breakfast. He took a look and found that at least another hour had passed. Then he brought the things in. Huzi glanced at Mr. Wang. Why are you alone? What about those 2? Why are you so angry here? How can you eat my food and still get angry? Let them come out. I want to talk to you. Are you tired of living? The tiger was furious. Lao Wang hurriedly explained, how could they do this? The 2 of them went to dig out meat, and when they came back, they were asked to stew the meat and make a good meal for the gentleman at noon. Huzi's evil anger subsided only then. Okay, since they are so eye-catching, let's feed them for a few more days. Okay, you can go back. There is no breakfast today. From now on, you will only have 1 meal a day. Save some food, there is not so much food. Raising waste. The old man nodded and bowed, and repeatedly said that he was going out, but Ma Lao-san called to stop him. Stop, Mr. Wang didn't notice. You actually washed your face and took a bath today. Don't you look very clean and tidy? No, you are not like this on weekdays. Today you are. What's the matter? Obviously, Ma Lao-san was more attentive and he could see that something was not right. When he said this, others also noticed, and everyone circled around the old man. It is true that although the old man's clothes are dirty, his face and hair are clean. No, did you see those two this morning? Hyoze turned to ask his men. No. Bastard, what are you doing for food? Go and show me now. Those two would have run away long ago, otherwise this old man wouldn't be able to do this. Looking at him like this, he just wants to kill me. As soon as he slammed the table, his two men were so frightened that they rushed directly to the hut behind with guns in hand. The old man knew it and came anyway. It is already bright outside and the sun has come out. The only thing he was glad about was that he had delayed it for so long. They must have gone far by now, even if these people discovered the hole. I'm afraid there's no way to catch them. Children, I hope you can arrive at the farm safely and live a smooth and healthy life. This is the only thing I can help you with. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Lucky Bag is Reborn with Space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 316. Chapter 316. Why should we escape? The old man had a smile on his face. He is prepared to die generously. He is not afraid of death. Anyway, he has no relatives. Now he has nothing and is wandering outside like a beggar. Since this is the case, death is actually a relief for him. Go in. Two people at the door were kicked in and fell to the ground. Lao Wangtu was startled. The two people in front of him were Song Moding and Zhang Xiaoxiao. Brother Huzi, what's wrong with you? We brought the meat back from there for you and it's defrosting in the house. Where are you? Song Moding held up the frozen, hard meat in his hand aggrievedly, and his hands were all red from the cold. Zhang Xiaoxiao was the same. Brother Huzi, we don't know how to cook, but we can barbecue, otherwise we won't stew the meat later. We are considering making a barbecue for everyone to make sure it is delicious. Speaking, he bared his teeth at Huzi flatteringly. Having not washed themselves in several days, their faces were dark and only their big yellow teeth could be seen. Huzi's expression calmed down. It seemed that the two people didn't run away because he was too worried. Okay. You can grill the meat for barbecue, or barbecue. Boy. Remember, men are not easy to mess with. If you dare to have any evil ideas, be careful that men's guns are not long-sighted. Song Moding and Zhang Xiaoxiao nodded and bowed, pulling the old man back to the hut directly. The old man followed them into the house ignorantly and closed the door. Hand pointed at two people. What are you doing? Zhang Xiaoxiao glanced outside. Brother, let's soak the meat in warm water to melt it later. I'll cut the meat into pieces and marinate it, then we'll grill it on large bamboo skewers. That way, the flavor and seasoning can be absorbed. By the way, big brother, go ask the big brothers for some seasoning, otherwise you won't be able to marinate the meat. If it's not marinated, the meat will smell very fishy. Song Moding nodded. Okay, brother, you do it slowly. I'll go ask my eldest brother for seasonings, and you have to show off your skills today. Our barbecue is the best. It's a 10-mile radius. Our family's barbecue is good at Bakken. The big brothers will definitely benefit from us after eating it. When he opened the door, he saw Malao-san leaning against the crack in the door, eavesdropping. Having been hit by someone, I still felt a little unnatural, so I smiled with a smile on my face. Okay, I actually have a skill at grilling meat, so I'll show it to you guys today. If you really eat well, I'll really make a fortune with you, the hot and spicy ones, in the future. Song Moding greeted him with a smile, and he and Malao-san walked back to the wooden house in front to get the seasonings. The old man walked to the door and looked around to see that no one was around before he returned. Why are you back again? Why don't you leave if you have such a good opportunity? Old man, if we leave, these people will definitely not let you go. We are not ruthless people. You are affectionate and righteous to us, and we cannot let you stay here alone. We want to give birth to a child. Live together and die together. Zhang Xiaoxiao quickly pressed the old man in front of the stove and handed him firewood. It's not just about cooking. In the past, she did not show her hand because she wanted to protect the old man. If she showed her cooking skills, these people would execute the old man on the spot. Now that we understand why the old man protects her so secretly, we naturally have to think of a way. The two of them have already walked out for a mile. After thinking about it for a while, I realized that this is not a problem. The old man is repaying them out of kindness, but if they really want to go away like this, although they may survive, their conscience will be troubled and they will not be able to live well for the rest of their lives. Neither of them is that kind of person, since everyone is a person who values love and justice. The old man will not be left to suffer here alone. The two people discussed a countermeasure and returned directly. Friendship is worth the return of affection. Songmoding dealt with 8 people by himself. Although it was a bit risky, they had to take risks at this time. That's why the scene just happened. The old man sighed. Sitting there adding wood to the fire, but looking at the burning flames, I felt a little overwhelmed. In this life, I can be considered a figure. In the first half of my life, I was all-powerful, but in the second half of my life, I lived in such poverty and betrayed my relatives. In the end, I wanted to repay a favor, but I didn't expect to meet someone who valued love and justice. Just because of the friendship between these two young people, he felt in his heart that even if he died, it would be worth it. She secretly made up her mind that no matter what happens next, she must protect these two young people. Although he has no ability, he couldn't defeat those people outside, but at least he could die for others. Is it possible that you can't stop a bullet? You two children. Oh, you are going to die when you come back. These people are not good people. I, an old man, have been with them for so long, how can I not know? These people are murderers. Don't blink, don't look talkative right now. That's because we can't get out now, but once we can get out. You think these people can keep us alive? That's weird. Everyone is afraid of being shot. The old man suddenly had an idea, or else he would take out the things he had kept and use them. Although it can't be used for big purposes. Old man, don't think so much. We have long seen that these people are not good people. We are coming back this time to prepare for a fight. Don't worry, old man. Songmoding, that is my husband, he is very skilled. It's okay to fight several people by one person, but now it may be a bit difficult for one person to fight 8 people. The most important thing is that he was afraid of getting hurt. The main reason is that everyone in the house has a gun, which is difficult to handle. Let me think of a solution. If we can figure out how to disperse these people and weaken their combat effectiveness, it would be best if we can do it all at once. It's not easy for us to escape, but if we take them away, we won't be in such a hurry until spring starts before we go back down the mountain. Why should we escape? We haven't escaped yet. Zhang Xiaoxiao was also thinking there. There was no poison or anything like that in his space. Even if you put some laxatives, these people will have diarrhea and their combat effectiveness will be weakened. Why didn't I consider this aspect at the time? Daisy can save people, but she has never seen Daisy harm anyone. What is grown in this field is either food or food. You can't give them your own peaches. Giving them peaches will enhance your combat effectiveness. It's a pity that if these peaches have the ability to have a fairy family, eat less, and eat less, and eat more directly and die, then you can also be a poison. It's a good thing now. I have no space and can't do anything. A big, thin, dark, rough hand stretched out, with a packet of medicine lying in the palm. End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 317. Chapter 317. This medicine is really overbearing. Zhang Xiaoxiao looked at the old man. What's this? The old man smiled and stuffed it into Zhang Xiaoxiao's hand. Don't worry, it's not poison. This is the laxative you mentioned. It can't be regarded as a serious laxative. I used to often find nothing to eat. I often looked for some food in the mountains. I don't believe I found a kind of mushroom. This kind of laxative eating mushrooms will cause diarrhea, and the diarrhea will make you unable to straighten up. I am an old beggar who is often bullied, so I saved a little of this mushroom powder and put it away. Sometimes I get bullied by those beggars, so I just give them a little bit as revenge. It can relieve one's own qi. As for this powder, I have tried to sprinkle it on a little bit, which is to say, it can only be sprinkled once and half a time at most, but if you put it all in, it will be very powerful. Zhang Xiaoxiao's eyes lit up. Oh my God, this old man is so awesome. He prepared things as if God had prepared them for them. The three of them together are a perfect match. This is really God's will. How's the barbecue going? It's being packed away, it's not ready yet, please wait a while, it will be delicious. Zhang Xiaoxiao flipped his wrist and the medicine bag in his hand was gone. The old man thought Zhang Xiaoxiao was agile. How did I know that I had entered Jiang's small space? Zhang Xiaoxiao started to take action. It's not just barbecue. Cooking is not a problem for her. The old man got a hint from Zhang Xiaoxiao. While Zhang Xiaoxiao was marinating the meat, he was actually frying peanuts and making cold dishes with limited supplies. Zhang Xiaoxiao smelled the aroma and sighed. They are all human beings. The old man is the one who hides his secrets. I didn't see it. Ha ha. Zhang Xiaoxiao laughed so hard when he thought about the unpalatable boiled vegetables they had eaten for several days. The old man was also happy. Hearing Jiang's little laugh, he knew what the girl was laughing about. I must have seen the food I cooked and immediately understood what I had done. No wonder if my cooking was always so delicious, these people would still have to eat and drink all day long. With his old bones serving these 8 big men, he would die from exhaustion. Only by cooking this kind of super unpalatable food can these people not tire out this old man. I was also laughing there. Girl, try it. My old man's cooking is delicious. He has a unique skill in cooking. It was because of this unique skill in cooking that I caught up with my old lady. Alas, let's not talk about it anymore. I've let you do it these days. Actually, my old man felt bad about the pig food he ate. But you can't start a small business in private. That's not sincerely letting me reveal my secrets. Zhang Xiaoxiao took a bite of the cold fungus handed over by the old man. Not to mention, what the old man made was really delicious. Even though the seasonings here are not complete, it is still delicious. Compared with the previous dishes, this is the real skill of the old man. Thumbs up. To tell you the truth, the food I cook is also delicious. Neither of us can blame each other. Let's show them our skills today. The old man nodded. Okay, I'm not going to blame anything else, just my daughter. You've been eating the pig food made by my old man these days. I have to improve my life today and let you have a good meal cooked by the old man. Last time I was at the wonton restaurant here, the old man thought, I must entertain you well in the future. To repay the kindness you showed me. In this life, no one has been so kind to me. Song Moding came back from his work and saw the 2 men busy in the house. At this moment, there was almost a grand banquet. Song Moding was very puzzled. He looked at Zhang Xiaoxiao and then at the old man. This is what you are doing. Zhang Xiaoxiao mysteriously leaned into his ear and said a few words. Song Moding's face lightened. Okay, then we have to set up the table and entertain the gentlemen inside. Come on, I'll put on the meat, and you can start the roast now. He absolutely trusts Zhang Xiaoxiao's craftsmanship. Back on the forest farm mountain, they ate barbecue every day and never got tired of it. Isn't it just because Zhang Xiaoxiu's craftsmanship is outstanding? My daughter-in-law's craftsmanship is definitely one of the best in the world. Anyway, he hasn't eaten it so far. Someone's cooking skills can surpass his wife's meal. As soon as these 3 people got out of the way, the 8 people in the room couldn't stay any longer, and suddenly they smelled bursts of fragrance. They have been eating the pig food made by the old man for several months, and these people have already gone crazy with hunger. The smell is almost unbearable. Husa kicked the big guy next to him and said, "Go and take a look. What is this made? Why does it smell so good?" Before the fat man could even walk out of the room, Song Moding and Old Man Wang had already walked in carrying 2 large plates. Come on, these gentlemen have just served this meal, let's try our cooking skills today." Song Moding brought up a large plate of barbecue. Mr. Wang served fried peanuts and cold vegetables. Hu Zhi smelled it and said, "Damn, it smells really good." He glared at Song Moding and said, "You 2 brothers are being naughty. You are so good at cooking, but you actually lied to us and said you didn't know how to cook. Grandma, wait until I take care of you later." Song Moding said with a smile, "Brother. That's not what country people are afraid of. They always have to be cautious. Now we also really regard eldest brother as eldest brother. We can't do our best. Brother, please drink." Husa gave Song Moding a roll of his eyes. Several other people also used Song Moding to say that they had already brought up the white wine in the corner. They brought a lot of this wine to live in the mountains. Now the good wine and food are here, why don't you have a good drink? Especially the barbecue, the aroma hits your nose. Malao-san came up and was about to pick up the skewers and eat them, but Hu Zhi snatched them away. "Brother, how long has it been and you still don't let me eat it? How many months have you been eating this pig food? It's not easy to see this good thing." Husa glared at Malao-san and said, "Idiot. Hand it to Song Moding, you eat." Cooking is something that can easily be tampered with by others whenever it is put into the mouth. He can survive to this day because he has sailed the ship carefully. Every time the old man cooks and delivers a meal, the old man will personally demonstrate and test the dishes. It's the same this time. We can't let down our guard just because the food is delicious. If they are all drugged by others, it will be fine. The old man felt nervous. Song Moding has taken it with ease. "Brother, my brother's craftsmanship is outstanding. Look at the color and fragrance, it's crispy on the outside and tender on the inside, it's fat but not greasy, it's delicious, it's delicious. Eat it in one bite, and even grab another bunch. It feels so good to eat." Husa was relieved. "Okay, just eat one bunch. Don't fix it for us here. Go and bake it quickly. We brothers are going to have a good time today." Song Moding agreed happily and hurriedly took the old man back to the cabin. The old man hurriedly grabbed Song Moding and said, "This is not possible. The medicine will take effect very badly in a while." Zhang Xiaoxiao glanced at Song Moding in surprise. "What's wrong? What happened?" Song Moding smiled and said, "It's okay. I ate 2 skewers of barbecue. The tigers are very wary. If I don't eat, they won't dare to eat." Zhang Xiaoxiao smiled and said, "Old man, don't worry about it. I have a way." Took out the dried peaches from his pocket and handed them to Song Moding. "Eat quickly. At this time, I don't care about anything else. When will I have dried peaches in my pocket?" Song Moding knew it well, but he didn't waste any time and ate it. The dull pain in my stomach finally eased. This medicine is really overbearing. End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 318. Chapter 318, Submission. Half an hour later. The house was very busy with people coming in and out. Zhang Xiaoxiao, Song Moding, and the old man finished their meals. "This is what people eat. It felt warm in my belly, and my whole body felt very comfortable. It was the most filling meal they had eaten this week. If those people weren't coming in and out in an unsightly manner and ruining the scenery, they could actually eat for a while longer. The problem is that the people in the house have already held onto the wall to get out and go in, and they are still there. That's almost it, let's get to work. Zhang Xiaoxiao rolled up his sleeves. Mainly because I am in a bad mood and extremely disappointed. Who can eat like this? Song Moding saw that his wife was planning to kill everyone, so he happily rolled up her sleeves. You, stay here with the old man. I am a grown man who can do this kind of thing. How can you, the old, the weak, the women and the children go up? After saying that, he walked out of the hut and closed the door. Isolated from all sight. Zhang Xiaoxiao was disappointed. Why don't I just take a look at that? No, not suitable for children. You, okay, you are awesome. The old man gave a thumbs up. Girl, the man you are looking for is very powerful. I have long seen that this young man is capable. If he were not worried about you and that person, he should have no problem rushing out alone. This kind of person is anywhere is alive. I'm really protective of you. You don't know that day, the day I wiped your face, that look in my eyes. It definitely means killing people and silencing them. If my old man hadn't pretended to be deaf and mute, your murderess would probably have gone straight to work that day. Zhang Xiaoxiao smiled. Indeed, Song Moding was really protective of her. Is her man. He is also a man who treats her as a treasure. There are many people who protect her like a treasure, including Fan Qiuying, Zhang Lishi, Zhang Lei, Zhang Yu, Zhang Xian, uncles, grandparents. In 2 lifetimes together, there has never been a man who could cherish her and protect her from another angle. Don't think she doesn't see it. The moment Song Moding held the dried peach, his hand paused and then he said nothing. Quickly stuffed it into his mouth. How could Zhang Xiaoxiao not know that her husband, Song Moding, and her had been going through wind and rain these days, yet he still didn't know whether she had dried peaches in her pocket. There is a ghost. Able to say nothing, not ask questions, and protect her with peace of mind. Song Moding was calmer and calmer than she imagined. There are not many little vests left. Just drop it. Song Moding's feelings for her were probably the biggest surprise she had ever received in her life. Within 10 minutes, Song Moding walked in and opened the door with a smile on his face. At this moment, the old man and Zhang Xiaoxiao could understand without any explanation that all the people inside had been dealt with. The two of them followed Song Moding directly into the big house. In the past, no one was willing to go into this house unless it was to deliver food, but this time when they entered this house, their mood was different. 8 people were tied tightly to the ground, and all 8 guns stood on the ground, supporting each other like a bonfire. Seeing the 3 of them come in, Huzi, who was lying on the ground, was still cursing. Although he was caught, his momentum remained unabated. In his heart, this group of people are ordinary people. Don't look at them catching people, what else can they do to them? Want to send them to the police? It's impossible to send someone out when the mountain is blocked by heavy snow. Besides, when the snow melts a little, my accomplices will come up. These people don't even have anywhere to run. How dare he make such a fuss with them? Maybe he is afraid of them. These people don't have the ability to do anything. A bunch of poor people will definitely not dare to do things like killing people. You bastard, let me go quickly, or else I'll deal with you. Song Moding didn't even look at the tiger on the ground. This man is probably used to being a bad guy and thinks he is a superior tiger. Don't even look at the current situation. I don't know that the situation is stronger than the person. I don't know even if I bow my head and submit. Idiot. Zhang Xiaoxiao and the others looked at the 8 people on the ground. Zhang Xiaoxiao specially washed his face and tidied it up this time. She hasn't cleaned up since she came down from the mountain. This whole body almost stinks, even I can't help it. Finally, I don't have to endure it now, and I don't have to cover up my whereabouts. How can I be worthy of myself if I don't clean myself up properly? As soon as he sat down here, that little face was exposed, and all 8 people on the ground were stunned. Ouch, it's actually a woman. No one can mistake her face for that. It would be weird to think it's a man. Having red lips and white teeth, she looks so beautiful. The tigers were dumbfounded. You, woman. How depressed I feel that there is a woman among these grown men. These days, they are living a miserable life. If they had a woman, they would be like this. This way to relieve boredom is not here, but now it is better to guard the Golden Mountain, but I don't know that there is a treasure in it. Looking at Zhang Xiaoxiao with evil eyes. Then there was a click and the arm was broken. The pain made Hu Ziyi tremble. Lifted his eyes and watched Song Moding lift his feet from his arm. That look in his eyes was so cold, as if he were looking at a dead person. Hijr felt a chill behind his back. If just now he thought they were ordinary people, but now Song Moding seemed completely different from the Orion Song in his impression, and his aura had changed a lot. Especially because he was able to knock down 8 of them just now, even though they had diarrhea and were weak. But they still had guns in their hands. Knocking down 8 of them at once would be no joke. They are not dead. At most they only have diarrhea, and they are not so weak that they cannot move. Given his skills, if he was just a hunter, who would believe him? Let us go, and our brothers will go down the mountain immediately and will never block your way. Huzi panicked when he saw the coldness in Song Moding's eyes. What if they encounter some kind of wanted criminal who is hiding his name? Judging by the way these people dress, they have been in the mountains and forests for some time. Normal people don't go into the deep mountains and old forests just like them, they go into the deep mountains and old forests just to do bad things. But who is a normal person who would stay here? People who are more ruthless than them are still living in the mountains and forests. If you think about it with your brain, you can know who these people are. There is definitely something wrong with him, otherwise he would be able to get here. Hitzi now has no choice but to submit to weakness. If he does not submit to weakness, he will be dead. Now don't say that they want to kill people and silence them. They are afraid that others will kill people and silence them. Zhang Xiaoxiao was very happy there. What this person said was really interesting. He thought they were stupid. Let them go out and wait for the 8 of them to come back to settle accounts with them. By cutting the weeds without eradicating the roots, they are setting themselves up for trouble. They are not fools. It is a dead end for these people to go out in this ice and snow. If you push these people to the extreme, you have to fight them desperately. How could they do such a thing? End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Lucky Bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 319. Chapter 319. I finally found you. The old man finally breathed a sigh of relief. He just nodded and bowed in front of these people. After months of pretending, he finally managed to act like a serious person this time. These people can't be kept. If the 3 of us eat this food, we can probably eat it until spring, but if we add these people, we probably won't be able to eat it. As soon as the old man said this, 8 people on the ground stared at the old man with very surprised eyes. This old man is cruel and evil, and he is just opening his mouth to silence them. And it's very obvious that the old man is in the same group with these 2 people, if they knew. How can you treat this old man as a slave? This is not because you are sincerely causing trouble for yourself. Huzi glared at Malao-san fiercely. He was such a bastard. He saw this old beggar on the road. No one would notice that such a beggar was missing. It's a good thing now. This time I found a big trouble and came back. This is obviously a murderer who came back. Moreover, they kept beating her up or scolding her for several months. That's all. It's strange that this old man doesn't hold grudges. It's okay this time, this guy is going to eat them all in one fell swoop, he's even more ruthless than them. Malao-san was trembling. Of course I remembered that he had brought this old man back, and he beat and scolded him all the time. This man, are you trying to take revenge? Others hurriedly begged for mercy. Old man, we were wrong, we were wrong. We didn't eat food. We went hunting by ourselves. We are all useful. We can hunt, collect firewood, and still work. We can do everything without having to waste food. Really, we are well fed. That's right, we can do anything. The old man was confused. Why did he feel that the people in front of him were trembling, but he didn't say anything? There was indeed not enough food here. With so many people feeding these 8 people, they had to be wary of these at all times. It is better to drive these people out and leave them to fate whether they live or die. They can't kill anyone anyway. As long as the weapons in their hands are confiscated, these people will not be able to play any tricks. These people should be very happy when they hear this. Why are you begging them to take you in now? This world is a bit difficult for him to understand. Is it possible that these bad people are cowardly? Everyone bullies the weak and fears the strong. Zhang Xiaoxiao shook his head. I think it's better to bury it. 8 people on the ground were shocked. What a ruthless person. The heart of a woman is the most poisonous in the world. Why did this woman want to bury them alive? Buried the people in the ice and snow and left them to fend for themselves. This is really murder without blood. Song Moding looked at these man-made evils. They haven't finished dealing with the wild animals. These people are really unreasonable. Some people go up to the mountains to hunt, but they cannot hunt every prey they see. This is a pot for grandpas and grandsons, big and small. Not only was this room filled with prey, but the other room was also full. How could the 3 of them handle all the prey? Besides, Zhang Baoken was gone later. Zhang Xiaoxiao was escorted to the old man's house by them again. It can be imagined that he only relied on his own craftsmanship. How can it be possible to pack so many things? These people were afraid of the cold and had such a big fire in the house. The whole room was warm. The prey in the house are now smelling a bit, and it won't be long after all. Let's not bury it, it really smells bad here. I don't know how these people can sleep in this room without smelling anything. To be honest, does he still know how clean his wife is? Well, it's better to bury it to save trouble. Song Moding agreed. 8 people cried and begged for mercy. Brother, spare my life. There was a clang. The door was pushed open violently. Song Moding, with quick eyes and quick hands, picked up a gun from the ground and pointed it at the door. He stood directly in front of Zhang Xiaoxiao. The old man pulled Zhang Xiaoxiao behind him and picked up a gun in one hand. Song Moding was a little dissatisfied with his laziness. How could he not pay attention to the surrounding situation? Be careful. Have you fed the dog? Mainly because after the heavy snow closed the mountain, I subjectively thought that no one else would come to this mountain. Who would have thought that someone would actually show up? Old Song, is that you? With one sentence, Song Moding's vigilance was broken, and Zhang Xiaoxiao peeked out from behind him in surprise. I saw Hyeguo with tears in his eyes, and a dozen big men standing behind him. Those people looked at each other in shock as they looked at the situation in the room. Brother who would have thought that he would actually see Hyeguo and the others here, and these 20 people are all acquaintances. In addition to their educated youth, there are also these workers in the forest farm, who are all old acquaintances. Hyeguo finally felt relieved when he saw Zhang Xiaoxiao. They didn't expect it to be so smooth. They walked all the way to here, still a little far away from the place where they saw the green smoke. A few people saw the cabin and wanted to rest for a while. Then keep walking. Who would expect to see the person they want to see as soon as they open the door of the hut? Looking at the 8 people on the ground, I looked at them with tears in my eyes, as if they had met a savior falling from the sky. Hyeguo felt that he had misunderstood. What did Song Moding and Zhang Xiaoxiao do to scare these people like this? This is... Hyeguo felt that the atmosphere was a bit strange. Nothing feels right. Help! Help us, we are poachers, send us to the police station. We surrender. Yes, surrender. Come to us. Huzi and everyone shouted anxiously. Don't even think about it, surrendering yourself is also death. Others looked at the situation in this room and understood instantly. Hands of worry for Song Moding and Zhang Xiaoxiao. If these people who go up to the mountains to poach in groups are caught, they will be sentenced to death. This group of people were extremely vicious in order to escape for their lives. Song Moding and Zhang Xiaoxiao were able to bring this group of people to justice, and there were 8 people with 8 guns. It was simply a miracle. I couldn't help but admire Song Moding in my heart. Okay, let's not waste our time. There are so many people. Take these 8 people and carry 8 guns. We probably can't take away the prey in this house. There is no other way. Let's evacuate quickly, or wait until next time. If it snows, we might really get stuck here. Now we have to leave as soon as possible. The old man said hurriedly. It's obvious that something is not right about this day. If we don't evacuate quickly, there will be another heavy snowfall tomorrow. But it will be really snowy and the mountains will be closed. Even if they want to go out, it will not be easy. Are you really waiting to go down the mountain after spring next year? Zhang Xiaoxiao nodded. There's no need to be in such a hurry. You guys can rest for 2 or 3 hours. Take a rest quickly. I'll make some food for you. Eat and drink enough. Bring the food and we'll go together. She could see how patriotic they were, their faces were full of exhaustion. It must have been a long walk. You can guess that it would take at least a day to go from the forest farm to the bottom of the cliff. Even if you have to go out, it will be a lot of walking back and forth. We can't just let them rush off in such a hurry. Hyeguo and the others also nodded. They were exhausted. Take a break. If you don't rest, you will die. End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 320. Chapter 320. No evidence. Zhang Xiaoxiao said nothing and went straight to the kitchen. The old man was right when he heard this. The 20 people in front of me looked like they had walked a long way, and they hurried to the kitchen to help Zhang Xiaoxiao. She has to cook for 20 people by herself, and she will die from exhaustion. Fortunately, everything is ready-made, and it is impossible for them to carry so many things down the mountain. The steamed buns are placed directly on the steamer and can be eaten when hot. The old man prepared ready-made fried shredded potatoes and made a cold dish. Zhang Xiaoxiao also has a lot of marinated barbecue left, so he can just put it on the fire now. Song Moding didn't take a break either, carrying things one by one from the kitchen. The old man also made hot egg soup. Since it's not easy to carry these eggs on the way down the mountain, I made hot soup for everyone to drink until their stomachs are warm. The remaining eggs will be cooked in a while and eaten on the road. The old man has long planned how to bring these things. Those potatoes will be roasted or steamed in a while. If you put a few on each person and separate them, it's actually not much. There are not many steamed buns left. It's hard to bring flour, rice, etc. Zhang Xiaoxiao finished roasting the meat and didn't bother to greet Hyeguo and the others. What we need to do now is to prepare enough food for the road in the shortest possible time, and it would be a waste not to take the food with us. Although I have space, I cannot take things away in front of these people. So if you can do a good job and bring some part of it to everyone, that is what you can do. Steam the rice, mix in the side dishes, and shape into rice dumplings. It's easy to take and store, and it's also delicious. Of course, adding some barbecued meat to the rice dumplings will make them taste even more exciting. As for the noodles, there was no time to steam the steamed buns with flour. In this weather, it takes time to make the dough, so they were all made into pies. It's hard to bring these oils, salt, sauces and vinegars with you anyway. The old man was very happy when he heard Zhang Xiaoxiu's idea. It was a good idea and nothing was wasted. So they chopped the meat into mincemeat. He also mixed it with cabbage and scallions to make a filling for the stuffing. The hot fillings are baked one by one. Can deep-fried pies be delicious? The men who had nothing to eat couldn't help smelling the aroma. The men were already starving. After eating those things, one person ate several more of these hot pies. The whole person almost felt relieved. Songmoding and Hyeguo were talking there, only to realize that everyone was anxious these days. In places they don't know, these people are working hard to rescue them. If they hadn't seen that wisp of smoke when they came out, I'm afraid they would have stayed on this mountain this winter. Songmoding patted Hyeguo on the shoulder. Of course he knew how much risk Hyeguo was taking when he led the team to look for them. If it weren't for Hyeguo, they would come out. Although they are unlikely to be in danger here, they have cabins on the mountain, food, and their own hunting skills, which guarantees their safety. But by the time they go out in the spring, I'm afraid the university will have already started. What else is going on with them? They have worked hard for the college entrance examination, but the final result may still be nothing. Brother, thank you. Hyeguo smiled and said, Old Song, what are you talking about? It would be meaningless for us brothers to be so polite again, but we are lucky. He sincerely feels that good people are rewarded, and he looks at the people he leads. They thought it might be a waste of time, but the further they walked, the more frightened and sad they became. After all, this road was too difficult to walk, but who had ever expected to see a small wooden house? They opened the door and saw them. The person you are looking for. It was like having a dream. This dream really didn't seem real. It was like in the sky, waving his hand, and the person he wanted to see appeared in front of him. This feeling is like a dream. However, as long as the final result is good, as long as Songmoding Zhang and Xiaoxiao can be brought back, everything is the best outcome, as if God has already arranged it. Luck, I think that's bad luck. Songmoding didn't look good. I had already planned to seek revenge from Fang Piashong as soon as I returned home. But now even the only tractor driver witness, Zhang Baokeng, is gone. Now even he and Zhang Xiaoxiao think that Fang Piashong is the biggest suspect. But who would believe it? Just relying on the two of them talking nonsense. The tractor is gone, Zhang Baokeng is gone, and there are no witnesses or material evidence. Fang Piashong may have already thought of 100 excuses waiting for them. Songmoding, how can he not hate it in his heart? Even if he and Zhang Xiaoxiao were harmed to this extent, nothing would happen to them. This feeling makes people feel particularly unhappy. Hyeguo sensitively noticed that Songmoding was not in a high mood, and the meaning of his words seemed a bit strange. Don't think so. It's normal for an accident to happen on a snowy day. No one would think of it. You think it was an accident? No wonder, everyone thinks so. I can see the tractor, and the brake line was cut by someone. This is not an accident. Some people want Zhang Xiaoxiao and I to die. Hyeguo raised his eyebrows in surprise. What, who is so wicked? We suspect it is Fang Piashong, but there is no evidence. It is really a result that makes people feel hopeless. I originally planned to take Zhang Baokeng back to confront Fang Piashong. After all, Zhang Baokeng was a proper witness, but Zhang Baokeng was gone. Then you have to be careful. Fang Piashong doesn't look like someone who would do such a thing. Since there was a first time, there will definitely be a next time. You have to be careful in everything, and you'd better return to the city as soon as possible. As soon as Hyeguo heard this, he knew that there was no evidence. Even if he told the truth, it would be impossible to arrest a good person. Besides, in everyone's eyes, Fang Piashong doesn't look like someone who would do such a thing. The police can't just arrest people just because you said such a thing. Even if this matter is a big deal for you, it can't be so baseless. Both people fell into silence. Whoever had this kind of thing done to them would feel unwilling to do so. Hyeguo could tell that Song Moding and Zhang Xiaoxiao would survive just by looking at their outfits. What kind of effort and hard work did it take to survive? Can you fall down a mountain without getting hurt? Although looking at the current appearance, it seems that both of them are in peace, but how many days have passed? Anyone who can have such thoughts to harm others is not a good person. 3 hours later, the people in the house started to set off. 23 men in front and behind, guarding 8 tied men. The sky has begun to become gloomy. Although there is no wind, it does not feel cold. There is no snow in the sky. But everyone's hearts are heavy, knowing that under this weather condition, it will snow sooner or later. They can leave earlier and get out earlier, otherwise so many people will be trapped here. End of this chapter.